Hey,
Hey, welcome.
been a while, man.
Well, since we've made a recording, yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, so welcome to episode 3
Yeah, I think so.
of, I think so, Talking Hyvä with Vinai and me, Willem. Um, yeah, we have quite some updates to share, and we've been working very hard on a new release of Hyvä Themes. We have a 1.1 release, quickly followed by two quality quality improvement updates. And yeah, I've been working on many things, and it'd be cool to go through them quickly.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it. Um, very good. Nothing to add to that. That sounds good. Yeah, lots happening.
Cool. Okay, so I'd like to first give a little demo of the latest version of Hyvä. So let me share my screen. I guess you're looking at Google now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So this should look familiar from the previous recording from the version 1.0, the home screen or the homepage. Except the cookies. So we have a cookie banner and the product slide on the homepage. Something new in this release is right here. We have swatches. And so this page loaded rather quickly. So let's reload it and see. So that was a reload. There's no layout shifts. There's no loading time. Swatches render instantly. We implemented the tooltips. There is a image switch when you select a swatch. So colors are toggling. Same goes for the swatches in the sidebar. They also now have a toolbar. And do we have a size in here? That's not enabled by default. But if we select a color here, for example, it also pre-selects them all here, which is also default Magento behavior, but now it's super fast. And then on the product page, of course, swatches are also enabled. Here we also have the size enabled, and well, it shows that as low as, because we have one product that has a reduced price. This one is actually 48 euros. If we switch the color, the images on the gallery also switch. And if we go to extra small, you can see it's a reduced price. And we have the tier prices, which I think I also demoed in the previous, in the 1.0 release video. But you can see if I go to 4, the price is changed accordingly. And new in this release is also the complete list of attributes of a product that are enabled for the product page. So we have this highlighted attributes on the top. We always had that. So if you have a handful of attributes that you want to give more visibility on the top of the page, those go here. And here's the full list of what you have in default Magento as well, all the attributes. This also works nicely in combination with custom custom options. If we go to one where I enabled those, that would be this one, I think. Yeah, we have some custom options here. And again, it's maybe nice to show the price calculation. So it's reduced to 50. This one has a price with a discount of 25 euros. So if I would want to have a print on this sweater with the text love, it goes to 25. So as soon as you start adding text here, the price updates. And this all works with native validation. So maybe if I reload the page quickly, you can see there's validation here. Let's add back the love, and then the radio buttons have validation. I need to select image here, and then we go to the card, and I can edit it again, and then it sets the right things on the product again. Also, we can show maybe in this release, we newly added the store switcher and the website switcher and the store view switcher. So this would demonstrate quickly that you can run a Luma store next to a Hyvä store, and you can seamlessly switch between the two. So you could have multiple store views and one run on Luma and the other one on Hyvä. And then let me switch back. That's right here, back to the default store view. So now we're back in the Hyvä store view. Let's switch to dollars. So dollar prices are also included. Let's update the item in the cart. And what's also nice is that we build in cooperation with Bolt, a checkout provider. We created integration for their checkout, which, as you can see, loads in an overlay that would also work on a product page or in the mini cart. This offers a full checkout that happens in context. They support various payment methods and shipping providers. So that's a really good alternative to our Luma checkout, so the one-step checkout and everything we support, or our React checkout. You could also go for the both checkouts. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have. Maybe I'm not sure if we made many updates to the bundle products. I know there were a lot of extra features like custom options on bundle products that we didn't have initially, that we just added in the new 1.1.2 release. But here you can also see that prices are updating immediately. And if you switch between options here, it actually remembers what quantity you had selected. So that works very nicely. And also tier prices are working. You can disable quantities. So that's fully functional as well. Yeah, so that's quite some things we implemented without any performance degradation.
Oh, coffee.
That's when the coffee machine decides to go to sleep. So that's done.
Very nice.
So yeah, that's what we worked on, and I think I'm particularly proud on how we managed to implement these complex features and still have, like, you don't even see it, but I'm refreshing the page now, and there's no content shifts or performance degradation. So yeah, really happy about this release.
Yeah, I'm still every time, even after working with this for quite a bit now, I'm still always so, wow, it's just so fast. I still can't believe it, even after a couple of months now. It's really nice.
Yeah, so next thing I would like to go through is something that we worked very much on together. So you've been very much involved into this one. We've made a big effort of enabling third-party compatibility modules. One thing that we did in this effort is create this list of modules where members of Hyvä, so people that are already part of our community, or let's say customers, they can suggest modules or tell us which modules they are working on and making compatible. We keep a listing of them in here. So that's a public page on our GitLab. It's linked from the Hyvä.io website. I can show it's on the... So if you go to Hyvä.io and then to the license page, here's a link to the compatibility modules. So that's publicly available. They end up here. And well, you could look at the board view, which is maybe convenient, where you can see these are just recently opened and nothing happened with those yet. Here are the ones that are accepted, which means that someone is already working on that. That could be us, or that could be someone from the community, agency or a merchant that's working on it and is willing to share that code back for everyone to use. We have a voting mechanism here. So when new modules are being added, then people are invited to vote on which ones they also want to use. So we can sort them by popularity. And then we see that, for example, the Smile Elastic Suite is in very high demand. That's currently the highest upvoted one, which you already have a lot of features covered from. So you can see on a module base which features do they are part of that module and which ones are already covered, who has been contributing on this. So there's 4 people that worked on this from different agencies. So that's really nice. We get some collaboration on this, and people sharing code, and we make an effort of also working on compatibility modules that we find important because they're highly demanded. And extension vendors like Matron are actually helping us in the effort of making modules compatible. Same as with the board checkout. We're in contact with their developers, and we worked on that together. So, Vinai, maybe it's nice if I give the screen to you, and you can show one of the modules that you've made compatible, which is quite nice. Maybe it's
okay. That would be one of the first. It's a little dev tool, template hints module, right? So that was like a one evening effort. But yeah, sorry, you were saying the label, right? Yeah.
As one final note, we're just started to label modules, so you can see everything related to checkout. So you can see these are compatible out of the box. So you can see that from the compatible module. So that means we don't need a third-party compatibility module. And BoldPay is one that we made compatible. So this list will grow. And also when we would make one compatible with a module, then we'll also list it here. And the same goes, for example, for page builders. You can see a list of which ones. So we have the one from Storyblock built by Media Lounge, and Argentos made a compatible. Well, they have integration with Prismic IO, which works without a compatibility module. And we started working on the Magento page builder module, so that will take a bit longer. But and the cool thing is that the Magento Commerce page builder is fully compatible thanks to John Yu. And it's nice to say we have our first meetup May 19th. And John will present the Commerce page builder and show all the features and how that he implemented it. So if that date didn't already pass, well, by then you will be able to watch it afterwards on YouTube. But if you can make it, join our first Hyvä meetup on May the 19th. So yeah, that's that. Maybe you can show, Vinai, show a bit of the things that.
Yeah, I won't share much this time. Oh, you still need to allow me to share my screen.
I absolutely.
This time, the main thing of this is basically just talking about the new release, which is great. So polished now. So what I just wanted to show briefly was this very small compatibility module. And we already said we wanted to do a Talking Hyvä, which is more technical, where we talk about how we want to, how it works, making these compatibilities modules, give an overview and a bit of insight into the details there. But basically, if you're not familiar with it, there's this HO template hints module by Paul. You know how to pronounce his last name, Hachmann. Well, our German non-Dutch speaker would pronounce it, but that's probably just not right. How would you pronounce it? Hachmann?
I think he's called. I thought Hangman, but it could be Hachman. I need to see it. Hachman, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think that's a Dutch last name.
No, isn't it? Oh, I just assumed. All right.
I just know him as his handle pals.
Right. So okay, so Paul built this very nice module that I've been using every time I need a little template hints module in Magento 2. I know there are a bunch of others too. This just was one I happened to be familiar with. And to use it, basically, you need the console open, and you once the model is enabled, right, you append the ATH, so advanced template hints equals 1 query parameter, and everything still looks the same until you hit shift, right? And then you get these little overlays over all the blocks. And if you click, you see the information in the console. And here you get the information for the templates hints, the cache information for the cache key, what gets into there, and the actual node there. And that works for a bunch of different, for like containers, templates, and also for Alpine components. So out of the box, this is done in Luma. This is done for knockout components or UI components, but here it works with the Alpine components instead, right? So here you can see the Alpine data and what's in there if needed. So yeah, that just makes it very convenient to work with it while doing Hyvä work if needed.
That went so quickly. Can you open the Alpine?
Yeah, sure. Of course, yeah. So we have the information on the template. Unfortunately, the PHP Storm links don't work because the path in the container is different from my host path. So
that's a Docker issue, right?
Right. That's an issue with the original module too. If you run your development instance in Docker or Vagrant and it doesn't use the exact same path, the click open in PHP Storm doesn't work. But there's a PR open I saw, so hopefully that'll be fixed sooner or later. Here's the
data key
information, and this here, right? This data key, that's $data is basically what you use in an Alpine view model to set data on. If you want to access any of the data state, you can always access that with $data, and in the expressions, I guess you would say, in the templates. So here you can see what's in there. So, if something is active or not, or whatever, all the different information that this gallery thing just happens to have, right? So a bunch of functions are on the view model here. So that's kind of like a knockout view model, only that it's Alpine. Yeah. And it's easy to see what's in there and see the current state of things if needed. So yeah, it was nice to see how, it was relatively simple to take something and integrate it, this different system into the existing module here. Okay, and the swatches have a lot more different information on them here, but yeah, it's right there. So that was actually very easy to integrate. It was one evening and was fun. So I'm really looking forward to getting a lot more compatibility modules done and showing them off. Basically, it's nice building compatibility modules. The main work is already done, right, by somebody else. So this is just like, oh, look what I built. But I actually just added this very thin layer of compatibility on top. And it's just as if I built this module myself. At least that's what it feels like. So it feels quite efficient and fast to build these things. So yeah, anyway, we'll do more about that at a different point in time.
And while you were doing this, you made an effort of documenting one thing or another. Maybe it would be nice if you could just quickly show an overview of what content we have on making compatibility modules, for example.
Absolutely, yeah. I think documentation is improving. So there's this under Hyvä Themes. There's the compatibility modules section, and this basically assumes there's a lot of other content about just working with the Hyvä in general, but under compatibility modules, there's a lot of information about, okay, so just setting up your environment so it's easy to switch, for example, between Luma and Alpine. That makes it easy to see, okay, how is this extension to work originally in Luma, and then it's easier to switch back to Alpine in Hyvä, and implement the same stuff there. This is all how the repository can be, we will set up a repository under the Hyvä Themes namespace, so it's easy to share. And so that's possible. Then there's the naming conventions and folder structure in there, how it can be set up, different approaches to that, working in with the compatibility module. There are some other features like automatic template overrides for compatibility modules, which we'll talk more about later.
Mm-hmm.
And then an overview over the general process of, okay, I've got this module here, where do I start? What are the steps that I go through in general? So it's more about the process. How do I approach something like creating a compatibility module rather than a concrete detail? This is a bit more high level. And we started collecting little bits of information about, common things we encounter in Luma, and front-end stuff like a data mage init and jQuery and underscore, and how would that look like? Taking something that's a jQuery widget, for example. Okay, now if I want to take that and build that in a compatibility module using Alpine, for example, or native JavaScript, how would that look like? So starting to collect all the information in there. Yeah,
I think it was a super important step. So in this effort of putting up this whole effort of third-party compatibility modules, where we're making this head start, making as much modules compatible as we can, but also offering this documentation. And I think good for people to see, just in general, that this kind of documentation exists. And I think it would be good that in a few weeks' time, we do some recording where we show a bit of the details or just the workflow of how you can work with Hyvä and how these kind of compatibility modules are being built. So
just working with Hyvä in general would be nice to show, maybe a few small videos with not everything in one video, right? Just a little smaller ones, focusing on one specific part, maybe. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Plus, on Meet Magento Italy, I have a presentation in June where I also do a quick tour guide through developing with Hyvä. So a quick overview of what working with Hyvä looks like.
Nice.
So, and there's enough content in the making.
Awesome.
Yeah, there was one more thing I had in mind for this edition of Talking Hyvä. So let me share my screen again. Because little by little, we get notified of launches of Hyvä sites that we're also allowed to already share. There's a few I know of that are either, in the case of a B2B shop, they're still they're behind the login, or there's some cases where people are still fine-tuning the shop and they don't want. I had a super nice launch was brought to my attention today, but I can't show it yet because they just went live. So we have to save that for next time. But some really cool things are being developed. We have the showcases page on Hyvä.io, and one that I worked on myself for a few months last year is one from Internet that they did for Highlight. It's a B2B shop. Some advanced cookie settings, so let's accept them all. They use the Mageson page builder for a lot of things, so that has been made compatible. So a lot of these things come from the page builder. They are all components that have been made compatible. They have the Mageson blog implemented, and some of that code will be ported into a compatibility module, so we'll have that pretty soon as well. So this is the blog from Mageson. And then there's a mega menu that they developed here, some static pages. They have a form builder that was made compatible. You can just see, so one of the issues with the previous shop was that it was just really, really slow because it pulled in, these prices are actually coming from a ERP, so they're asynchronous, they don't come from Magento. So that was a big performance bottleneck previously, but they also had a lot of issue with just a general speed. And the search uses Krivu, so that's also been made compatible here. I think if I look for spotlights. So yeah, it's just great to see that these kind of things can be implemented into Hyvä, look really nice and perform really fast. So that's one that I'm proud of because I was part of the development. I don't think that's Takeaware. We showed that one before. This one was developed by Argentos, one of our partners. They have a really nice 3D gallery. So I just picked one product that doesn't have a 3D image. This one probably has. Yeah, okay. So here's a 3D. I think that was just a JavaScript library that they pulled in. That also just, well, because it doesn't depend on jQuery or anything, you could actually make it work with jQuery, but this just works really nicely out of the box. Yeah, so because our demos are usually quite static or don't contain a lot of content because we work with Magento demo data, it looks well, sometimes people ask like, can you show me an implementation that does a lot more than just how Tailwind usually looks like? You have these predefined blocks that don't look really designed. Well, you can see, and also Ballondruk, I'll just go through a few more. There's also a B2B shop. It contains, I don't know, it has a very large catalog and it performs really fast. So they were also quite satisfied with the performance they could get out of, well, a different Magento front end, basically. This one was built by Diglin. They have a really large set of bundle options, which they needed to make compatible. So they really helped me make the bundle products very solid because they found all the edge cases, including some performance optimization that we needed to do to get all these options to render fast enough to immediately update the price to still have that performance. So prices are recalculated instantly, and well, it's just a lot of extra features here. So this is a computer configurator based on bundle products. And here's another one from IntegerNet. Or you can see this one implemented a previous design from the old shop. It was ported over to Hyvä. And well, honestly, you wouldn't be able to tell what kind of CSS framework is behind this because it's all pretty much custom. It still uses Tailwind and some custom CSS, but well, you can build any design using Tailwind. Well, I'd invite everyone to take a look at the list. It's still growing. We get notified of releases quite regularly, so we'll keep it up to date. And also we'll get a new newsletter out this week, also with some publications that were done recently. And the list of, I don't know, podcasts and videos that were done recently. IntegerNet is still doing nice presentations. They spoke at Magento Connect last week, Andreas did. So as soon as that video goes up, we'll share that as well. So yeah, plenty stuff again.
So much happening. Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot more we could talk about now, but I think it's enough for one video. We'll save it for another one and hope nothing drops through the cracks while even more new stuff is coming out.
Yeah, let's increase the interval, the frequency of these videos, and yeah, keep you all informed. And let's talk a bit more technical stuff in the next one. We'll show a bit of the nitty-gritty developer details and why Hyvä is so much fun to work with.
Awesome, very good. Yeah, cool. So thank you.
No, thank you.
And
a pleasure as always.
You're off to a vacation now for a week, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Well, enjoy.
I feel like I deserved it. So I'm taking a quick break, and thank you for being there and helping with all of this stuff.
It's a pleasure. It's really fun. Awesome.
Okay. So thank you for listening, and I hope you'll be watching the next one pretty soon. Thanks.
Yeah. See you in the Hyvä Slack or wherever. If you're not already. Bye.
Okay. Thanks, Vinai. Ciao.